Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Watch the greenbacks tumble.
A couple seconds ago, I don't know if it went out over the air or not, but I heard the intro to the broadcast. And I said, "Is that us?" And Justin said, "Yeah, that's us." I said, "I guess we better get ready then." Captain John Regan, are you ready?
What? There's a show today?
Oh, jeez. You know, I was on the phone with Captain John Regan just a few minutes before the broadcast. We always check in, and we're just chatting away, and Captain Regan said, "Hey, it's 9 o'clock." I go, "Okay." I guess we better go. So we disconnected on the telephone and reconnected on digital. So here we are. Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Your dial is set correctly to USAPrepares.com. We're delighted you're here. And if you'd like to call us, we have a toll-free number for you. And that is 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. We've got a listen line. And if you'd like to take us with you 24/7, 605-477-3249. 605-477-3249. So, Captain John Regan, you were away from home over the weekend. What were you up to?
Oh, boy. And it was a good thing I'd done all my show prep before that started, because I was in no shape last night to do anything. It was about as draining as a Get Prepared Expo. The only difference, instead of having all these seminars at once, or where you have to clone yourself and you have to make sacrifices on which ones to get to, with the Hear the Watchman conference, it was one at a time for basically an hour and a half to 2 hours. And it, except for the first day that started at noon, basically started, like 8 or 9 in the morning, 9 o'clock on Sunday, and went until like 9:30 at night, except for Sunday, where they stop at 5:30 to break down and let people go home. One of the interesting things I found out, I'd gone over Thursday while they had registration going on, so that wouldn't have to worry about the crowds on opening day. Picked up the badges for Becky and me. And while I was there, I was talking to somebody, and one of the people that came down was working as volunteers from Canada. And she flew down on a one-way ticket and had no idea how she was getting home. That's the kind of faith that some of these people had. And I'm not sure I'm bold enough to try something like that. It's that is really stepping out.
We've had people come to the Get Prepared Expo who have come on a one-way ticket or gotten a ride out, and they were going to figure out how to get home. It was that important to them, so that's wonderful. It really is. Did you get a chance to meet anyone that was looking for you?
No, I didn't find anybody that was looking for me. I did manage to make contact with all the media people, which included Doug and Joe Hagman, Josh Tolley, John B. Wells, Sheila Zelinsky, and they each got a copy of my book. I hope they're able to sleep after all of that.
Josh Tolley is on this network, Genesis Communications Network. I've never met him, never talked to him. I'd really like to do that. So if you could make that introduction, that'd be wonderful. I'll
see what we can do. The trick there is he's on right now too, 9 to 11. Right. Mm-hmm. But he's a nice guy, and I think what it is like a lot of what we do. There's a lot of us that are trying to accomplish the same thing, through different avenues, and we're part of the same team. And even though we're on the same time, we're not really competition. And especially thanks to Genesis Communications, who makes their podcasts available no charge. You don't have to make the hard decisions or make the decision to not listen to one because you can't afford to shell out money like a lot of other places do, where you have to pay the money to get to the archives. So
that's a really good point. And I'm looking forward to chatting with Josh Tolley, and maybe he and I and you can do a simulcast. We'll go on the air at the same time. Wouldn't that be fun? We've done that with Sam Bushman and done that with John Statmiller, and let's try it with some others. So I'm looking forward to that. So you got a chance to meet John B. Wells?
Briefly, yes, I did, and I had Dr. Richard Allen Miller send an email to him with a bit of an intro saying that I was going to be there. So he comes in, practically stops by where I'm sitting, and I get up there and hand him my book, and practically the next sentence was about having me on a show. So
that's wonderful.
I don't know when that'll be, but I'm looking forward to that conversation.
Great. And you met the Hagmans, right?
I met the Hagmans. That was kind of fun. Doug Hagman has a new book out that talks about the brutal death of his uncle, and I believe that's what led him into, a couple of things. One, being an investigator, and two, finding out what's going on in the real world. And that's what a lot of this conference was about. It's not things you learn in Sunday school. I wish you did. And way too many Christians don't understand how evil is. And
we're not capable of thinking the way the evil people, the defectives, think. We don't think like that. If we see someone who needs help on the side of the road, we'll do our best to help them. If we see someone with a flat tire, we go and help them change that tire or do it for them. We don't think about sending people into harm's way and getting them killed, maimed, wounded, and so forth. And I was thinking about, the Marine Corps hymn, and, we fight our country's battles on the, land and on the sea. And I'm thinking, really? So we send Marines in because Barry wants to send them in? And they're fighting for Barry? Do they realize that? Do they realize they're fighting at his whim? It's nuts.
Talking about the Marine Corps hymn, and how Barry talks about the contributions Muslims made to America. Well, that's one of them. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we were fighting against Muslims way early in our country's history.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I think way too little history is being taught nowadays. And what is agenda and indoctrination driven.
Well, what were some of the highlights of the conference? What did you learn that maybe our class hasn't heard about?
Oh, good grief! There's so much. In fact, I'm going to have to go through. I ordered the live stream where I can watch it, and because there's a couple of sessions I missed at the conference because my back, just can't take those seminar chairs, and as far as they went, though, they were good chairs. So getting late in the day, it's just in too much pain to stick around. But oh my goodness, it's kind of like, where do I begin on this? Russ Dizdar is, on the front lines. Satanic ritual abuse. And police departments know a lot about what's going on, but it never ends up on the evening news. And kind of on the end of the conference there, the woman that was in front of me, we ended up talking, and fortunately she's in the local area. She's a counselor that deprograms people, including some that were programmed by the Nazis. So I'm looking forward to getting together with her and finding out more. John Robertson, who worked in Hollywood for a number of years and talked about the history and going back, even the very first movie, which was about Babylon, kind of set the stage. And when they took down the set, it's not like today where they strike it and you're left with a lot. They basically just buried it in place. So the Babylon of the first movie is still there in Hollywood. And it got into how on these big budget pictures, how they make a sacrifice to Satan. They'll take one of the young girls, sequester her and impregnate her, and then they'll take the baby and using a smaller version of Moloch like they did in the Bible, sacrifice it to Satan to get his blessings for the movie.
If you're wondering why I didn't say anything, I'm speechless. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now, with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
This is Sharon Hunt. Before using Heart and Body Extract, my energy level was very, very low. I could only walk a few feet and then would have to sit down. I was tired and lethargic. But after taking Heart and Body Extract, my energy level has improved greatly, and I can now walk longer distances without getting tired so fast. Thank you, Heart and Body Extract.
Learn the secrets of an effective, natural, 100% organic nutritional supplement for a healthy heart and circulation at hbextract.com.
Class, tomorrow we've got a special broadcast with Brandon Williams and IronEdison.com. And we're going to be talking about solar systems. We're going to be talking about battery design and construction and what type of battery makes the most sense, because the battery is a really big part of the system. It's about half the cost of your system. So, and it's the one thing that you're probably concerned about wearing out. So we'll talk about the different battery technologies, and it's a 2-hour special on alternative energy and becoming more independent. Meet up tonight at Jimmy's Egg. I will unfortunately not be able to be there, but it should be a great meetup. The Beninattis will be there, and they're going to give the update as to what happened in their situation, where the cops came. They're my neighbors. They just live down the road, or they want to live down the road. But the cops came, pointed AR-15s at them. That'd be the state cops, and that'd be the county cops. And can you imagine? Can you imagine having AR-15s pointed at you when your back's toward the cops? That's how weak they are. That's how weak they are. So who am I talking about? I'm talking about my neighbors, the Beninattis, and I'm talking about my neighbors, the cops. Our cops are a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. And they're trying to run the Beninattis out of town. And they told the Beninattis that they'd let Jeremy Beninatti out of jail if he stayed away 20 miles away from their property. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine having property, paying taxes on it to the county, and the county saying, yeah, well, we'll let you out of jail, but you can't go to your property. You have to go someplace else and live someplace else, and that's what they're doing. But we're not going to let that happen. We're going to court en masse. USA Prepares is going to be there, and we're going to watch everything, and we're going to report on everything that happens. Hopefully the county government will get enough sense and decide that they really don't want to do this. They just want to let this go away, because it needs to go away. As a matter of fact, the Beninattis need to sue the county for all it's got, for the abuses that they've endured. Captain John Regan, I'm at thefinancialstateoftheunion.com. At the news tab, where are we starting today?
I'm still going through what I learned.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We just, this breaks. Pastor Billy Crone talked about drones, clones, and the AI invasion. And for a bit over 2 years, we've been talking about spy tech here on Mondays. And it kind of shocked me a little bit, because if you go back and take everything that we've talked about for 2 years, put it together, actually it's in a few packages with video where you actually see this technology. It's real technology. Some of it's more ready to be deployed than others, and it's just it's all going so quickly. And to watch how these drones are in all areas of our lives, and then you stop and look at the military side, and when it's in all areas of the military, and it's one of those where you can just see the train wreck coming. And if you think your life is boring now, just wait a couple of years. It's you won't have time to be bored.
John, I was reading a post over the weekend, and the Army is looking for people who know how to do things, like blow things up, destroy things, use common everyday items as weapons. The Army's advertising that they'd like to meet you. They'd like to reward you. They'd like your help, helping them learn how to blow things up, be destructive, destroy the planet at an ever-increasing rate with common everyday items that you know how to use that maybe they don't know how to use yet. Can you imagine that? That's how low we are stooping.
Hey, is it a great country or what?
I'm trying to think about, there's so many people who are proud of our military. I'm proud of our military. Really? Okay. So, I'm proud of the men and the women, but I'm not proud of some of the things that they're made to do. Like dump perfectly good items into the ocean that we've paid for. Like pollute the land, the air, and the sea. Kill people, maim people, wound people.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
It's no secret that pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, molds, and fungus can inflict severe damage in the human body. Fortunately, a new and vastly improved silver solution has been developed. Supernatural Silver is a revolutionary broad-spectrum antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal solution that can be used inside the body as well as on the skin. Supernatural Silver is unique and superior to colloidal and ionic silvers, using a patented technology that is highly effective against colds, flus, infections, food poisoning, and yeast, in addition to many other pathogens. Supernatural Silver is scientifically supported, extremely safe, and is the #1 choice of thousands of people for immune system support. Find out how Supernatural Silver could change your life. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code HEALTHY for 20% off. That's supernaturalsilver.com, and like us on Facebook.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pileski of the Pileski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Something shocking just happened in a Coast Guard unit in San Diego. The old guys in the unit have turned the tables and are now destroying the young bucks in head-to-head fitness tests. How is this even possible? Turns out the old guys in this unit have been part of a special test group for a doctor-formulated fountain of youth drink called Patriot Power Greens. Patriot Power Greens has been so effective for many of the older soldiers that it's made their achy joints, stiff muscles, and lack of energy a thing of the past. Previously, this drink was only available to elite military units. But for a limited time, the creator of Patriot Power Greens has set aside a small number of free sample packs specifically for our conservative friends. But you must act fast. Due to the high demand from members of the Coast Guard, our supply is extremely limited right now. To claim your free samples of Patriot Power Greens, go to greens75.com. That's greens75.com. greens75.com.
Captain John Regan's with us. What's next?
Let me just cover a couple of others, and then we'll get into the news. L.A. Marzulli, man, the research that this guy does, and he and Timothy Alvarino went down to South America. They actually got to see records and get access to some of the elongated skulls that were not humans that had their skulls shaped. These skulls, the cranial capacity is about 25% higher than ours. They were able to get some DNA samples, and includes some DNA that doesn't appear in humans. And I mean, even if you've seen how human skull's put together, on the top of the head, there's a certain way the bones come together. These skulls don't have that. And one of the things I learned Saturday, if you've looked at the bottom side of the skull, there's a hole there where the spinal cord comes out. Even that in these skulls are in a different place. And I think I talked about it on air. Alvarino and his family were nearly killed a few weeks ago. He's doing a lot of work on this, and not just South America, but other places. And the powers out there really don't want this information out because it's hard evidence that goes against the Darwinian religion that is being pushed on pretty much everybody in public school. And then session after that, Flip Benham and Coach Dave Dobbenmeyer. Wow, that was one of the most energetic sessions of the entire conference. You might not know the name Flip Benham, but perhaps you know the name Norma McCarvey, the Jane Doe of Jane Roe of Roe v. Wade. And Flip is the person that ended up leading Norma into salvation. And, that also happened here in Dallas, kind of interesting coincidence. Coach Dave Dobemeyer back in 1997 got sued by the ACLU, for the outlandish crime of praying with his team. So, there's a lot of people there that are kind of like those of us here on USA Prepares. We don't necessarily do what the government wants us to do.
Right.
There was a lot of discussion about how time is short. However, to me, there still is a little bit lack of urgency, and maybe I can get with the conference organizer and see if I can get this input into the next one. They're planning on the second round in Knoxville, Tennessee, September 30th, October 1st and 2nd. And we've talked about it on air. It's about a year ago, I made the calculation and presented it at the Get Prepared Expo, where I took 3 statistics, 3 numbers. One is the total income based on IRS tax statistics. One is total government spending, federal, state, and local. And what our an estimate of debt service. There's good numbers on how much is being paid in interest. We don't exactly know how much is being paid towards principal. For my model, I use a number of 3%. That's probably low, but I like to try and be a little bit conservative on these calculations. And based on the recent growth in those numbers, income was growing about 2%, government spending and debt service or interest were growing about 4%. And based on that, those 2 items, government spending and debt service, are more than the total national income in 2020. That's not too far down the road, and obviously we can't get that far before things freeze up, because there's, the debt includes part of housing, because whether you're paying rent or paying mortgage, a lot of that's in that area, but it doesn't include things like food, health care, transportation, things of that nature. And I have some of the numbers to update that with, and what really disturbs me in those numbers. When I did the calculations the first time, the total debt of the United States was standing about $60 trillion. Now, increasing at 4% a year, that means now that debt should have been about $62.5 trillion, and that debt is over $64.5 trillion. So in 1 year, we've almost got double the increase in debt of what I was expecting. And I won't know until I get a chance to crunch all the numbers, but my guess is that probably reeled that timeline in to where that no longer crosses in 2020, but now that will cross by 2019. And I don't believe we really have that long. Of course, there may be some games that they can play, but I can't imagine what they are, because they've done about everything they can. The quantitative easing, where they monetize the debt, it funded the government, it funded the banks, made those stocks on Wall Street, look like everything's great. They've gone with the negative interest rates. Those aren't working. I just can't imagine anything else that they can pull out of their bag. But, we could be surprised. But it's like anything else, becomes so drastic that it can't remain hidden from the people that haven't woken up yet. And it's kind of like the last thing that the small minority that has so much control over lives wants is people to wake up and actually do something about it. Because if people did wake up and do something, there's a whole lot more of us than there are of them.
I agree. And it just takes the waking up. I think one of the things that the police are so afraid of, and government in general is so afraid of, is that mass assembly of we the villagers. You know, if we get in large numbers, we could be like a huge lawnmower and mow down everything, you know, in front of us, or whichever direction we turn. And that's what they're afraid of, and that's why they have sound cannons and water cannons and tear gas and all kinds of weapons at their disposal that they're free to use. Imagine what would happen if we did what they did. You know, the guys in the clown suits. What would happen if we threw a tear gas grenade at them? How long would we spend in jail if they caught us? What if we had rubber bullets, beanbag shotgun shells, and we started firing, you know, in their direction? What would happen if we used their tactics? And their plan is really simple, to single us out, overwhelming force on their team, and single us out, and use that overwhelming force on us to teach us a lesson. And, John, are we going to have some time to talk about cruise? Can we talk about that sometime, maybe?
I sure hope so. Let me just wrap up and say that I've kept the link for the Hear the Watchman in the post for today. You can't order the online viewing anymore, but they do have the order form up for the DVD set. All 3 days, I believe it's $100. And if you're interested, there's that. If you're thinking about going to, you'd like to go, just couldn't fit it in, you know, maybe go ahead and put the September 30th, October 1st on your calendar, and go ahead and bookmark the Hear the Watchman website, and you can follow along. I do want to, I guess the good news for today is in the Tale of Two Droughts. There was a lot of rain, and I said this report should show some changes. And there actually is some change in California. The area that's at least abnormally dry hasn't changed, but the area that is in a drought condition did drop 4%. That, you know, isn't enough to get them out of the woods. It does drop the number of people affected by drought from the 37 million range to the 34 million range. Here in Texas, it was pretty much like I thought. There's no drought in the eastern part of the state. It's the West Texas and Panhandle areas that are, for the most part, just abnormally dry. And we dropped from about 1.5% of the state being in a drought condition to practically none. There's less than 1,300 people in the Panhandle that's a drought 1 condition. Less than 11.5% of the state that's abnormally dry. Of course, here we are at the beginning of spring, and you know, we just don't know which way the weather's going to go. We can get more rain and more floods, or we could have a lack and watch those drought conditions go up real quick.
When we come back, John, I'd like to just put some anecdotal evidence out about water, groundwater, because you've been talking about the drought. I'd like to share something that I've experienced and put a call out to our class and see if you've observed the same thing. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now, with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Don't know what's in your drinking water? Better get a ProPure. With the Pro 1G 2.0 all-in-one filter, remove over 200 contaminants, including fluoride and lead. Taste water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure water filtration products. There's a ProPure system for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details on our current free shipping special or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
What would your life be like if you woke up each morning with new vitality, feeling better than you have in years, and you noticed a difference in your sleeping patterns, blood sugar levels, and had a sense of well-being overall? There's something that is changing thousands of people's lives, and you could be one of them. It's called Heart and Body Extract. Sharon Harris, co-creator of Heart and Body Extract, talks about the positive effects of Heart and Body Extract.
What happens with the formula Heart and Body Extract is it's giving the body the necessary vitamins, minerals, amino acids, enzymes, and phytonutrients so the body will heal itself. And yes, the body does have the ability to balance blood pressure, balance cholesterol, clean and unclog the arteries. It can also work on balancing the circulation for diabetics. So the body is an amazing thing. It simply needs some help so it has the tools to heal itself.
Heart and Body Extract gets results. To order your 2-month supply, call now, toll free at 866-295-5305. Order online at hbextract.com.
For the most amazing, calming, brain-stabilizing, blood sugar, and natural addiction-breaking formula, try CalMind. Anxiety melts, panic is gone, sleep is restful, and you'll stay calm during stress. Better than booze, mind-altering drugs, or anti-anxiety, antidepressant, toxic medications, CalMind lubricates your mind so you'll sail through the day effortlessly. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com and listen to the NutriMedical Report every weekday on the GCN Radio Network. NutriMedical, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't take on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
So here at the farm, we felt some explosions. And I mentioned this on the air months ago. And Mrs. Finelli was on her tractor, a 40 horsepower tractor. Our son was on his tractor, a 40 horsepower tractor, and I was on, my old antique tractor, and the diesel engines were roaring, and I heard this loud bang. I thought that I broke the tractor in half, literally. I thought the cast iron tractor split open. And I was in one field, and they were each in another field. So we were in 3 fields on 3 different tractors. We all felt this explosion. And they came running over to see if Dad was okay, because they thought, well, their equipment was okay. It must have been me. And they were, let's say, a quarter of a mile away. The earth rumbled. That was one explosion that we heard. Then we heard other explosions. We live in a stone house. And the house has 220... I bought 220 tons of stone to build this house. I have some stone left over, but that doesn't include the mortar. This is a very heavy house. The walls are a foot thick. And I was in the studio, not on the air, and the whole house shook with another explosion. Well, here's what I've noticed with water. Our well water, we have a whole house water filter, and it's, our water pressure dropped really fast. I checked the water filter, and it was clogged with all this reddish brown, we'll call it, looks like rust. And we have a well. And we've seen traces of this before over the years, but now it's like a massive amount. What I'm asking our class to look at is, if you have a whole house filter, has your water changed? As ours has? I'll bet you it has. I'll bet you there's something going on. Either the nuclear detonations underground or massive explosions underground of some kind. And it has loosened the supporting structure around the aquifers. And now we have pollution in our aquifers. That's one theory. Or these explosions have loosened the well casings and the seals around the wells, so that when we have massive rain, the rain runs right down the well casing and pollutes the aquifer in thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of wells. Or it's both of those things. So if you have a well and you've noticed an anomaly, would you give us a call and let's connect some of these dots? It doesn't have to be today, just, whenever you find it. And that number to call in is 866-582-9933, 866-582-9933. I was talking with Joey from Michigan, one of our instructors here at USA Prepares, and we connect lots of dots together almost every day. He's connected that dot with me. Captain John Regan, back to you.
Now let's drop down to the first item in bigger picture for today, birth issues. And if somebody out there has time to research this, I just don't have the time for something that ultimately doesn't matter a whole lot. But it suggests that Ted Cruz had 2 Canadian parents. His father went to Canada, became a Canadian citizen, and it also turns out when his mother went there, she also became a Canadian citizen. And what they're saying is until 1977, Canada did not allow dual citizenship. So if his mother was a Canadian citizen, that means she had to renounce her U.S. citizenship. And there's absolutely no way that he, as a natural-born citizen, wouldn't have been anyway without both parents being citizens. And just something interesting, but the president does require a natural-born citizen, unlike what we have now. Senator, you can just be a citizen. Different standards.
Yeah, and when I was in elementary school, I learned that in order to be president, there were 2 qualifications. You needed to be born in the United States, and you needed to be over 35 years old. That's it. That's it. And it seems like the system is absolutely run amok. And by the way, Ted Cruz, is a supporter of GMO foods, and he is against GMO labeling, so we can't tell what we're going to eat. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
Bad news, Americans. You're probably stockpiling for a disaster all wrong. When the big one comes, you'll need more than that poisonous, oversalted survival food you now see everywhere. There are 3 vital things that your survival food is missing, and it's the first thing to disappear from grocery stores. Go to superfoodradio.com now to see my story of how I nearly died when I was forced to live on a popular survival food. That's superfoodradio.com, and I'll show you how everything you've been told about survival food is dead wrong. Go to superfoodradio.com now. Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Everyone all set? Cocked, locked, hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. Meet up tonight at Jimmy's Egg. Jimmy's Egg in Springfield, Missouri. A link on the website, USA Prepares, or information's on the website, USAPrepares.com. Silent Night just called into the studio. And the meetup topic tonight is Alzheimer's and dementia. Alzheimer's and dementia, and how to fight back. Silent Night's hosting, and the Benenati family will be at the meetup talking about the latest update to their situation, where the police came and drew their rifles and aimed them at Jeremy Benenati and ran him out of town, arrested him, cost him his job as a programmer. What a miserable operation we have here in the Kingdom of Wright County, Missouri. But with a few more good people like the Benenatis, we can push back against this evil government that we have. And let's see, that's 4:45 to 8 p.m. tonight, the Benenati story. By the way, Joe Acapenti called in and made the announcement that he would let the prosecutor keep his job for now if he backed off and dropped the charges against Jeremy Benenati. Well, it's not exactly what happened, but here's what did happen. The prosecutor excused himself. He's no longer part of the case. He's no longer part of the prosecution. So he ran scared. And by the way, class, USA prepares. We don't back down. Captain John Regan's with us, and we're continuing our discussion about the Financial State of the Union.com, the news tab. Your class topics are posted right there, and I'm following along. Captain John Regan?
Well, I've got a few articles here from the financial and employment sections this week and last week that are about China. And I think when we put them all together, we see a picture that things really aren't going to turn around anytime soon. One is the Chinese exports plunged over 25% compared to last year. That means they're not selling as much worldwide by quite a margin. 25%. That's quite a lot. I've also got an article on the Chinese housing bubble, which goes in the step-by-step how they're moving, at least the wealthy are moving their money out of China, or even doing some of this in China, how the business owner creates fake employment contracts with his maid or driver, showing big income and justifies a big mortgage. The owner sells property to the maid or driver, and they don't care about what the price is. The owner gives his maid the money for the down payment, which is in China it's 30% right now. And of course, when there's a loan, the rest of the amount, or I guess really the whole amount that the sale price is, goes to the owner. The maid or driver moves into the property and lives there until the actual owners decide to stop paying for the mortgage payment. The owner cashes out of the property, and at some point they stop making the mortgage payment, and they don't really care that the bank takes it because they've already got their money out of it. We've talked a lot about the Baltic Dry Index, which is about raw materials, and that's approaching 400 again. It's up to 398 today. But while the Baltic's been recovering a bit, there's another freight index, the China Containerized Freight Index, that's been dropping and is hitting record lows. And the difference is the containerized index is basically finished goods being shipped. And as we discussed, exports are down 25%. So that means there's a whole lot less demand, and that affects prices.
John, we've got David in Tennessee on hold. David, welcome.
Yes. Good morning, Vincent. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
Sorry to interrupt, John. I know you never get to get the news out, and I'll try to make it brief and quickly as I can. I had heard about America Again in a book that was written to start the AmericaAgain.net by David Zuniga several years back on the Alex Jones show, and it's growing rapidly now as a way to take our country back. The book is free online, Fear the People, at the AmericaAgain.net website, and it's going to be grassroots at small towns all across America getting together and bringing our representatives home where they belong instead of allowing them to stay in Washington and holding them accountable for their actions and unconstitutional actions that they've been taking for so many years now.
Well, it sounds like the plan is to bring them home and then go visit them at their houses and talk to their wives or their husbands and their children and let them know that we know who they are, where they live, and what we demand that they do, which is represent our interest, or we're going to fire them. But yeah. And by the way, never reelect anyone. So if anyone's in office, never reelect them, and never promote them. Never promote them to the next level of incompetence and abuse and tyranny. Okay, so what I'll do, David, as I will post this on the website, I've got the link America again. I just brought it up, and okay, I'll take care of that from my end.
Well, wonderful.
Anything else?
Like I said, we're having community meetups all across America, and it's just a matter of bringing them home, holding them accountable, and prosecuting all of those and freezing their assets to where they're made to hold to the Constitution. And it's in the First Amendment, and it just hasn't been ratified in enough states. It was ratified in 11 states, and then I think there's a project some years back, college, as their point of teaching or whatever, was able to ratify it in one other state, and we just need, I think it's 27 additional, and then it will become law. So they go online and read the book or watch the little short films that David and others have come up with. It's self-explanatory, really. Super.
Very good. David, thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Vincent and John. God bless.
Thank you.
Okay, John, back to you.
Okay. This one I found a little disturbing. China proposes unprecedented nationalization of insolvent companies. Banks will equitize non-performing loans. Now, let's start off on the other side, the bail-ins that the banks do. That's where you have money taken out of your accounts, and in exchange, they give you stock equities into the bank. Now, good luck trying to trade that stock for cash, but because they gave you, quote unquote, something of value for the money they stole from you, it's not considered theft. Now, let's go to the flip side. These banks have loans, and we've got all these companies in trouble. And the last thing that the government wants to admit is that they've got this serious financial trouble. So what the banks will do is, in place of the loans, they'll take equity stock of the companies and gain control of these companies. So the banks are on, kind of both sides of this this financial war we've got going on between the depositors and the debtors. And just wonder how soon before we see some of this come to America. But I talked about how when we have this deflationary era that we have going on right now, companies can't keep up forever. Whatever cash they have, they're going to burn through. We've got so many areas where it's costing more to do business than what they get for the revenue. And that's going to result in business failures, mergers, and government takeovers. And what this also shows is bank takeovers, and in the corporatist fascist model that a lot of these companies are coming, Freudian, I guess, their countries are operating in. Basically the difference is under communism, everything is state-owned. With the socialism, corporatism, it's privately owned, not by the peons, of course, but controlled by the government. And that's what we're seeing here in this case. And if that isn't enough to cause you problems, China has a 5-year plan, and it includes cutting 50 million jobs. That is a huge number. You're talking about a number that's equivalent of 1/6 of the population of the United States. And if you have that many people out of work, no income, people tend to, riot. And of course, the leaders in government don't want the actions directed towards them. So that's why they create wars, so they can turn that hatred and violence outward. And it's, like I say, the picture's not looking good for the near future.
John, when we come back, I'd like to just mention something about a Chinese product. Hillary Clinton, the past administrations we've had favored trade with China, and we've shed our manufacturing, fired people, closed plants, and now we have some of this Chinese junk here. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a select quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Suffering from illness or disease? Frequently in pain? Overstressed? Always tired? The solution is to oxygenate your cells because disease cannot survive in an oxygen-rich environment. Introducing Vital Ion, the first mineralized edible oxygen in the world. Go to toolsforfreedom.com and get the Miracle of Oxygenation DVD free with any Vital Ion purchase. Call 800-770-8802. That's 800-770-8802. Let Vital Ion edible oxygen be your daily fountain of youth.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
John, we were talking about China, and I just have an anecdotal story. Over the weekend, I bought a fuel tank, a 500-gallon fuel tank for diesel. I'm taking delivery of diesel fuel for the farm, and I was able to buy it at a fairly good price. I expected the price of diesel is going to go up, so I wanted to have an extra 500 gallons here. And so I bought this used tank, and it was in great shape. And but I noticed when I bought it that the fuel drain plug on the bottom of the tank was broken off. It has a square component to the plug, and it's a national pipe thread fitting. And somebody must have put a wrench on it and broke it off. I thought, wow, okay, I can probably get that fixed. I can take care of that. So I bought the tank and put it on the truck, drove home, and started to, vacuum out the tank. It didn't have any fuel in it. It was empty, just a little rust in the bottom. Vacuumed it out with a shop vac and tried to get this plug out. And put a pipe wrench on it, and the pipe wrench just caused the plug to flake off. So chunks of metal are just flaking off. I couldn't believe it. I've never seen this before. And so I heated it with a torch and sprayed it with Teflon penetrant oil. Couldn't get it off. Got a bigger pipe wrench. Couldn't get it off. The plug just crumbled. I'd never seen something like this before, such weak material. And the ring that was welded onto the tank is really strong, but this plug was really cheap Chinese garbage. And I looked at the top plug, which is a 3-inch plug, and someone before me had tried to get that off, and that crumbled in pieces, in parts of it as well. So I left that plug in. But what I'm saying is, our government has forced us to have to buy Chinese products because of the unfair trade practices that we have. If we want to compete with the Chinese, we can't. So our companies have gone out of business. Our tool and die makers have gone under. Our machine shops have gone under. We only have a few left. And now we have these cheap Chinese products, Chinese steel, Chinese electronics. We don't make electronics anymore. And how do we rebuild, when we have these lousy parts? We've shipped our lathes and our mills and, all those machines. We've shipped them to third world countries. Now they have them. And then we get to buy products that are made with our old equipment using inferior materials, like this cheap Chinese steel. Now, not all Chinese products are bad, but this is an example of, if you look at one of these plugs at a store, and if you go to Home Depot, or if you go to Lowe's, you're going to buy a Chinese piece of pipe. And is it going to rust and rot out faster? Yeah, probably. So you go through all this labor, and you figure you're using good quality materials, and that may not be the case. That is the point. Back to you, John. Oh, by the way, I fixed it. I took an air chisel, and I just tapped it with an air chisel and blew right through it. I couldn't believe how flimsy this was. So what should never have happened took easily an hour to cut and saw and chisel this 1-inch plug out. So we've created a lot of extra work for ourselves by buying cheap Chinese stuff. Okay.
I've got some preparedness items I'd like to get into, so we get to them before we run out of time.
Okay.
First one, info only, NOAA projects. And that link goes to the family membership page of the NOAA projects website. Among the benefits you get is an app that alerts you of solar flares. What they're looking about is things like the EMP or CME type effect on the power grid. And if you click on the home page of this project, what really jumped out at me, one of the team is none other than Newt Gingrich. Now, there might be people too young to remember he was Speaker of the House, which you might argue is the second most powerful person in our government after the president. Because after the president and vice president, he's the next in line for the presidency, and he controls a lot of what goes on in the House of Representatives. Also thought it was interesting, the news where he said that the reason that Trump is a problem is he's not a member of a secret society. And we'll talk more about this after the break.
Yep, and that's one of the reasons why I support Trump. We'll be right back.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Planning to buy food storage? Wait a minute. Many companies try to confuse you with the number of servings they sell. It's not about the number of servings, it's about the number of calories. In emergencies, calories mean survival. Go to ReadySupplyFoods.com for a comparison of leading companies. Ready Supply Foods sells the most calories per dollar of any company. Our 23 entrees and breakfasts are delicious and full of nutritious calories. The new leader in value and quality. Go to ReadySupplyFoods.com today.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Ted Anderson telling you about Jordan Rubin's Beyond Organic Green-Fed Raw Cheddar Artesian Cheese featuring whole milk created through ancient dairy breeding, unpasteurized, untreated whole milk on the same farm the cows graze, containing natural sources of omega-3s, CLA protein, calcium, probiotics, and enzymes. I have never tasted cheese this good, and you need to try it. Contact your longevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Something shocking just happened in a Coast Guard unit in San Diego. The old guys in the unit have turned the tables and are now destroying the young bucks in head-to-head fitness tests. How is this even possible? Turns out the old guys in this unit have been part of a special test group for a doctor-formulated fountain of youth drink called Patriot Power Greens. Patriot Power Greens has been so effective for many of the older soldiers that it's made their achy joints, stiff muscles, and lack of energy a thing of the past. Previously, this drink was only available to elite military units. But for a limited time, the creator of Patriot Power Greens has set aside a small number of free sample packs specifically for our conservative friends. But you must act fast. Due to the high demand from members of the Coast Guard, our supply is extremely limited right now. To claim your free samples of Patriot Power Greens, go to greens75.com. That's greens75.com. greens75.com.
Are you looking to sell body armor? Want to make extra money selling body armor at your local gun shows? With low minimum buys and great returns, Katie Armor is the answer. Make money in your spare time. It's American-made body armor with the quickest turnaround in the industry, which means you get your product when you need it at very competitive rates. And they'll ship it to you for free. If you own a business, give them a call today at 855-488-KATIE. That's 855-488-2284. Or go to katiearmor.com. Come and take it.
Hey everyone, with 20 plus years as a radio host, I've seen about everything. One thing that keeps recurring though are these timeshare charlatans. These high pressure salespeople who get folks to come out to some resort for a special weekend offer. Then they get them in a corner and browbeat them and coerce them into buying a timeshare they don't need, they don't want, and they can't afford. And then they're stuck with that thing forever. Monthly payments, mortgage payments, annual fees that keep going up and up. Well, up until recently, people thought they couldn't get rid of these things. You know, you can't get out of the contract, you can't get out of the deed or the membership. Well, that's not true. My friends at American Consumer Credit, a timeshare release company, can get you free. That's their personal guarantee. 12 years in business, free consultation, A-plus rating with the BBB, they're the real deal. You want to get out of your timeshare contract? Call them now. 800-587-EXIT. That's 800-587-3948. 800-587-EXIT. Call now, 800-587-3948.
Captain John Regan's with us. And Captain John Regan, you're talking about Newt Gingrich. When you're done mentioning him, I have just a small piece of anecdotal evidence to just talk about who he is. So please continue.
During the break, I was sitting here. They're going through a series of quotes on the banner on their homepage, and one of them is from Newt, saying, of the 11 major threats to our society, EMP ranks number one. And I do give him credit for, the work he's doing, trying to tell people, the dangers of being grid down. I just don't know if the society or this project, the NOAA projects, is a real solution or not. The property that they're selling places in, from what I can tell, is in North Carolina. Have no idea what type of people are buying there. Is it? Are there any of the higher level people out of government and industry relocating to this a NOAA project location, or are they just selling, security blankets to people that are awake enough and does it really offer a solution? I can't say either way, but I wanted to put that up, as an item of interest, and maybe we need to start selling family memberships for $250 each. That's insane.
23 years ago, I put together a video teleconferencing system using two computers, two standard computers that I built. And this system would provide video teleconferencing on the computer monitor. These are CRT monitors back then. And we had a whiteboard. We had a connection with a document camera, so you could see a document. You could text. You could share documents, share files, have audio, video, all with a dial-up modem over just plain old telephone service. And Newt Gingrich found out about this. Found out that we made this. And his comment was, and this is 23 years ago, John. This was really bleeding edge technology. And he found out about it, and he said, well, it'd be okay. But it'd be nice if you could do it with a conference call. That's, it was the coolest thing. I mean, just dialing up and calling someone who had the, similar unit at the other end. And we did it for $1,200. $1,200 for the entire system. Less the two computers, which was, amazing. In 1993, pulling that off for $1,200. And anyway, that's Newt Gingrich. So these guys, if you think that these government people don't have their ear to the ground about technology, that is not the case. Many of them do. And they want to know what's going on, what private industry is creating and what hackers are doing, so that they can exploit it to use it for their purposes against us and against their enemies. That's the Newt Gingrich story. Now, I never met him, but he certainly was aware of the technology that we built. No question about it.
Well, before we move to the next topic, I've discussed how with grid down and the lack of food and water, we're looking at a 99.5% fatality rate. And people aren't, really used to working with percents. And you might be able to have an idea of where you have a setting like we had at the Hear the Watchman where there's 1,000 people in the room. Well, at a 99.5% fatality rate, that means 5 of those people would survive. That's how bad this is. You have to have food and water. You probably need at least a few years stored up, at least a few months at minimum, and that assumes that you already know how to raise your own food. Just can't stress that enough. And to give you some ideas, in a no power world, batteries not needed is the next one, and it gives no power appliances designed to survive. There's 13. One is the ground fridge, which they've got a nice picture there where you would be under the ground, like similar to a root cellar. They're not cheap. They start at almost $10,000. Another one is a deluxe winemaking kit. And you might say, I don't drink. Why would I need a winemaking kit? Mm-hmm. And it gets down to, let's just look at grapes, especially the colored grapes. The green grapes just, don't have as much nutrition. But, the red or the purple, they have phytonutrients in it that are great for you. But the thing is, you can't just, especially without technology, keep those around for a long period after the harvest. And the way that a lot of food storage was done in the past is through fermentation. Well, when you ferment the grapes, you get wine. And it's not about getting drunk. It's about preserving that food source and those great phytonutrients. So the good news is that these types of things are not very expensive. The kit they show in the picture is $145, and kind of a low learning curve on that, unless you're trying to, make fine wine. But again, this isn't about the enjoyment or getting the drunk. It's saving the nutrients for use throughout the year.
And you can make wine for even less than $149. I mean, if you want the kit, sure. But you can get a 5-gallon carboy or a 3-gallon carboy, some grapes, some yeast, some winemaking yeast, a bubbler, and you can start making wine. You really can. If you want to clarify it, you can use isinglass or you can use some bentonite clay. You just need to sterilize the equipment before you do it. And you can easily make your own wine, no question about it. And you can do it almost for free. If you have grapes, and you don't even need grapes. You can use other fruits. Right. You can even use dandelions. You have to add some sugar, but you can make some dandelion wine. But the best wine, the best grapes to use would be, as you said, the red grapes.
Another thought is a golf cart with a solar charger. Though,
yeah.
That helps you to. It's not for playing golf. It's to help you move things around.
Yeah.
Think of what
that would be an electric golf cart class, and the idea is the charging system, instead of a plug-in-the-wall charger, would be a solar panel on the roof. Absolutely.
An item that's getting harder to get, wood-cook stove. I think that's been talked about before. Cast iron pots and pans. And again, you
use them every day.
Don't necessarily need to buy those new. Just go to an estate sale. Greenhouses.
And by the way, they're getting more expensive. And I use them every day. And I believe that it helps put iron in our systems. Really, using cast iron pots and pans. They're very easy to clean. They're heavy, but they're very easy to clean. And I have my grandmother's cast iron pot that I remember seeing her use, and it was old when I saw it in the 1950s. And we're still using it. I suggest you consider John Reagan's advice. Absolutely. Cast iron. It's a great way to go, but it's heavy.
It's heavy, but it's probably going to last for several generations.
Yeah, and if you drop it, it's going to dent the floor. But it will probably survive.
Yeah, just make sure you miss your foot.
You bet.
Greenhouses, which you've talked about recently. Solar oven and food dehydrator. And again, you don't even need to go as far as the solar oven they're showing there. If you've got an old satellite dish, you can cover it in aluminum foil and use it to focus the sun's rays.
Yep. That's Bill Whaler for you. That's what he recommends. Or you can use a cardboard box and line it with aluminum foil. Aim it at the sun.
The next one they have is a solar chest freezer. You're not going to have a power grid, and you're wanting to preserve, freezing's away. That's again, not going to be real cheap. The one they're showing is about $1,600. Number 9 I've talked about before on the show, non-circulating hydroponics, so you don't have to worry about having a pump. And the Health Ranger sells these. You can make them yourself. Number 10, they got Berkey water filters. Again, we've talked about this on the show, and I think the Berkey's great for normal times, but once you get past normal times, the one thing I don't like about the Berkey is you have to prime the filter, and if you have to put contaminated water up the area where it's going to come back down, to me that's a problem, and it's also going to be hard to get the pressure you need to prime the filters. So that's why I know Vincent, you have, and I have converted to the ProPure filter where we don't have to prime them.
That's right. So what John Regan's talking about, class, is the Berkey water filter has a carbon block element, and unless water gets into the pores of the carbon block, it won't work. So you have to pressurize it from the inside of the filter with a faucet or force water into all those little crevices within the Berkey water filter, the black carbon filter, so that it will then work. And maybe one way of doing that is if you had a balloon and you filled the balloon with clean water, you could squeeze the balloon and use that to pressurize the Berkey water filter element. However, you'd have to have clean water ahead of time to do that. I'm not saying that Berkey water filters are not a good way to go. It's just that you don't have that problem with the ProPure water filtration system. They work without being pressurized. Wow. This time is really going fast, Captain John Regan. We'll be right back right after these few short commercial announcements. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from IronEdison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit goberkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products. Most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey Guy at GoBerkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey Guy.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Imagine a pill that can improve your focus, your memory, your sleep, a catalyst to improve your brain chemistry. Dr. Bill's Cognition Plus is truly the smarter in an hour pill. A combination of amino acids, trace minerals, and B vitamins, Cognition Plus is made with specialized herbal extracts that will enhance and support brain function. Our customers say,
I feel more focused.
My memory's getting better.
I can work longer with more useful hours.
Power up your neurotransmitters that have been depleted, like dopamine and norepinephrine. Stimulate the release of others, like serotonin and oxytocin. Improve circulation and energy production. Protect your mind and your loved ones today. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Cognition Plus at 888-212-8871 or go online to NutriMedical.com. That's 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. And listen to the NutriMedical Report every weekday on the GCN Radio Network. NutriMedical.com, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't pick on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
You know, class, I don't know how it happens, but, we run out of time all the time, and I was looking at the list, so I asked John Regan, what do you think about Friday? Can you do 2 hours on Friday? And we'll try to get through some of the rest of the list of topics for class today, and so Captain John Regan agreed, and he will be with us on Friday. So we've got 4 hours of Captain John Regan today and Friday. Please continue, John.
Number 11 on the list, traditional archery gear. Because no matter how much ammunition you stock up, sooner or later it's going to run out, even if it's for your grandkids. So that's, especially with today's modern bows, those should last a long time. Number 12, foot or hand-powered laundry washing machines. And the problem I have with that is that what you see in this post are fairly small. Something I saw in an Amish house there in the Ozarks. They took one of the old round washing machines that also has the ringer on it, and they put a 12-volt motor on it, and they had that run to a solar panel on the roof. So,
yep.
That.
And by the way, class, in this line of thinking, electricity is very important. So we're doing a 2-hour special tomorrow. With Brandon Williams. He is the CEO of IronEdison.com, and they're manufacturing batteries. We're going to talk about that technology because, traditional lead-acid batteries may last 5 to 10 years, typically 7. We're going to talk about how to make them last longer. We're going to talk about the different battery technologies. We're going to talk about the nickel-iron batteries. We're going to talk about solar power. So I am very, very seriously concerned about electricity, and that's why I put in a solar system here so that I can run the well. Because without water, we're cooked. We're absolutely cooked. So I have spare well pumps and so forth. But electricity is important for us, as well as shedding as much of the electrical devices as possible. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Please continue, John.
Number 13 on their list is Gerber Apocalypse Survival Knife Set. And, if you had to, you could make knives out of rock, but it's not easy, and you're going to really mess your hands up doing so. So of the things that you can buy, really good knives, they're used for a variety of purposes, You also want other things like machetes, axes, and when you have those tools available to you, it will just make your life without electricity so much easier. And just so make sure I get this in, the third article that I call the Big Chill, Amish build a year-round ice storage house. And, it's unheard of today, but before electricity, this is what they did during the wintertime. They, stored up ice. People in the far north where they had the freshwater lakes, they would go out and, saw the ice out of the lakes. Places here like North Texas, you have to pray you have enough time below freezing, which I don't think we did this winter. And, you make enough ice, you can build forms for that. Then you store it in a facility, and there's a nice article about how to build such a facility, and keep your cool after everybody else has lost theirs.
Yeah. And what we're talking about, class, is a little building, like a one-car garage. You can think of it like that, but it's square. And it has a super insulated interior. So it's got the exterior's got the steel roof. It's a nice-looking building, and then inside is the super insulated ice house. And they just cut and stack pieces of ice. Think of it like the size of reams of paper, just stacked. And if they need the ice, they go into the ice house and get it. And what a great idea. A lot of work. But if there's no other choice and you don't have electricity and you need to keep things cold, what a great way to go, right?
Absolutely.
Hey, John, you know what? I have, I don't know if you saw it, in the kitchen, I have my grandmother's ice box. And they used to call refrigerators ice box. Oh, it's in the ice box. Well, it was an ice box. And I have the ice box, and it's a working, complete ice box that belonged to my grandmother. My mother refinished it, and it's right in our kitchen today. So we're ready for it. All we have to do is build the ice house. What a great idea. I'm really seriously looking into this, John. I've got it on the screen right now. Captain John Regan, thanks so much for being with us. And we've got more of this kind of discussion coming up on Friday, 2 hours, right here on USA Prepares. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. And thank you, Captain John Regan. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Hi, Pat Matthews again. I want to talk to you about selling online. And when I say selling, I'm talking about your home, your car, and even buying a house or a new set of wheels. There's a new kid in town, and that's buysellmakeoffer.com. The revolution has already begun, and I invite you to be a part of it. You see, get in on the ground floor because buysellmakeoffer.com never charges item fees. Can you imagine what the other guys might charge you for selling a car on their site, let alone a house? Well, buysellmakeoffer.com doesn't do that. And you can use Skype and YouTube videos to sell your products, big or small. Go right now to buysellmakeoffer.com and set up your account. For as little as $7.95 per month, you can sell up to 50 items, and they'll give you the first 30 days free just to try it out. Remember, no per item fees. Join the revolution today. buysellmakeoffer.com and tell them Pat Matthews